Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday, December 12th, 2025. Born on this date in 1963, actress Teresa Blake of Tuscaloosa. She was Gloria on All My Children. Today is National Salesperson Day. Now, if you're like me and you tend to close your blinds, screen your calls, and never make eye contact while you're in a store, let's try to be better for today, I guess. Let's also talk about Fannie Mae, the West Alabama corridor, and a space freezer contract. Then, for a second segment today, we're going to have reporter Rebecca Griesbach back on the show to talk about her time here covering education and more. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
In America, half of every dollar spent on brand medicines goes to entities who don't make them. While middlemen like PBMs and 340B hospitals drive up costs, Biopharma is investing $500 billion in new infrastructure and manufacturing here at home, and helping patients buy medicines directly at lower prices. Tell Washington to end middlemen markups and put American patients first. Visit phrma.org/middlemen.
Secondary mortgage giant Fannie Mae is moving some of its operations to Birmingham, reports AL.com's Heather Gann. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville released a video to announce the move, telling viewers that he worked with President Trump and Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte on what he called an early Christmas present for the city of Birmingham and the state of Alabama. Tuberville's running for governor next year. He touted the move as a way to, quote, help reestablish Birmingham as the leading financial hub of the South. Now, the offices that are moving here, according to Tuberville, are currently in San Francisco, tweeted Governor Kay Ivey. As I have long said, Alabama is not California, and that is a good thing. See, when you're 81, already the longest continuously serving governor in Alabama history, and term limited out, you get to throw shade wherever you want to. Fannie Mae is a government-sponsored but shareholder-owned company. It started out as a government agency back during the New Deal, went private during the 60s, but was put under a government conservatorship during the 2008 credit crisis. So it's a private company under government control. It buys mortgages from lenders, packages them together, and resells them to investors. Part of its purpose is to promote affordable housing. It also makes a boatload of money. No details yet regarding how many jobs might be moving here and how big a footprint it'll have. The Alabama Highway Authority issued $730 million in bonds for work on a 4-lane highway from Mobile to Tuscaloosa, reports AL.com's Mike Kaysen. And it has the Republican governor and the Republican lieutenant governor on different sides of the issue. Spoiler alert, the governor wins. All right, this money should complete the 4-lane West Alabama corridor, which just needs the stretch from Thomasville to Moundville finished. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth has been consistent in his opposition to the work. He doesn't like that there are no matching federal dollars, and he prefers to prioritize the 6-laning of I-65 from Mobile to the Tennessee line. Ainsworth posted on social media, quote, spending $750 million state dollars on the West Alabama corridor with zero federal match is the biggest abuse of taxpayer funding in Alabama history, end quote. Governor Kay Ivey's communications director, Gina Mayola, responded with a statement, quote, fortunately, the governor, Kay Ivey, determines the transportation priorities for our state. Now, what did I say about shade earlier? Mayola explained that the governor's vision for highway spending includes 4-lane access to places where it isn't, such as this new 4-lane West Alabama corridor. And the UAB School of Engineering will be working to develop a freezer for NASA, reports AL.com's William Thornton. The deal will be for $37 million for 66 months, and could be extended through June 2033, according to UAB. The mission is to design, test, deploy, and support the lunar freezer system for the Orion crew module and perhaps other space vehicles during America's return to the moon and eventual trips to Mars. The freezer will be designed to return temperature-sensitive material back to Earth. Let's take a quick break. Then Rebecca Griesbach's going to join us. She's been on the show a couple times talking about education stories. She's taking a new gig, so we're going to do an exit interview about her time here. Y'all stay with us.
When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into amazing prices and great gifts. That's main character energy. Because at Burlington, the holiday savings aren't the only things turning heads. Discover quality finds and perfect presents for everyone on your list, even those who are hard to shop for. Toys and jewelry to new beauty brands and styles, these gifts go seamlessly from our stores to under your tree. Seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else?
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
Hey, thanks for staying with us, everybody. Today, I'm happy and a little, maybe a little sad about today's guest, but it's all good news because we've loved having her on here before. But this is one we're going to have to call an exit interview of sorts. Rebecca Griesbach joined Alabama Media Group when it created the Alabama Education Lab, which is an initiative here that takes a solutions-based tack using data and deep dive reporting along with, our breaking school news. She's recently been a reporter with the data team while still leaning heavily into education stories. Rebecca, welcome back to Down in Alabama.
Good to be here one last time.
Thanks for taking the time. I know a short timer, sometimes it can be tough to say, okay, I'll do something extra, but we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate the chance to kind of talk a little bit about, where education is now and how much it's changed since I came on board in 2021 and just appreciate it.
Well, first, you must have a really good reason for leaving us, right? Tell me you do.
I do. I'm actually kind of shifting gears and moving into the policy world, which is something I didn't imagine that I would be doing. But really working at the Ed Lab gave me such great exposure to how things work in the legislature and, obviously got a lot of experience with data, which is going to be a big part of what I'm doing next. I moved to New Orleans and I'm working with Tulane University at the Cowan Institute, which works with local school systems in New Orleans and also on the state level to kind of advocate for certain education policy shifts. And I'm going to be a data analyst. So I'm doing a lot of work crunching the numbers and making sure educators know how to use those numbers and all that good stuff. So
that's fascinating because it's not a lot of people in journalism. And I could say, I've been newspapers and everything else for decades now. Not a lot of them like the numbers. It's really cool that you do.
Yeah. No, I have to give a shout out to Trish Crane too, because she taught me everything I know about, data and spreadsheets. But yeah, I actually wanted to be an architect before I became a journalist. So
I love it.
And then I realized that architects are stressed out all the time and overworked. And then joined journalism. So,
Actually, that's what I was told the same thing when I was starting out in school. I'm one of those guys where when I take some kind of job assessment, the answer comes out, whatever you do, don't go into news media. But I was going to be an engineer, and when you're starting out school, architecture is one of those sort of related, some of the same skills. And I remember hearing that, well, if you don't mind having a drinking problem while you're still in college, go on over to architecture. But otherwise, engineering's the way to go.
Yep, and here we are.
Now, you just said, I think you're already in New Orleans.
I am, yes. Been here a couple months.
Oh, really? Well, what's the climate like way over there?
Well, right now it's raining very heavily. I don't know what it's like in Alabama right now, but it just started to get cold
Mhm.
probably about a week ago, which I'm excited about. I'm still adjusting to this climate. Alabama was too hot for me, so
It's the opposite. I'm freezing. I had to put on a jacket just to come to work, sit in the office today.
really, wow.
Well, and not that New Orleans is a cold weather city, though.
Right, right.
Well, all right. All that sounds like pretty good reasons for leaving. So we're excited for you and hope to keep up with what you're doing. Let us know if we can help with anything. If there are any great job openings, I'm just kidding. So I say that to my bosses. Uh, let's take the time now to squeeze every little bit of work we can out of you. So I'm going to ask you a little about your time here, really just general, some of your favorite stories that you've worked on, either because you enjoyed doing them or because they seem to have had like exceptional impact. And I know a lot of your stuff does. So, uh, what have you enjoyed the most, you say?
Um, I was actually thinking about this earlier, and honestly, one of my favorite things that I've been able to do in these past almost 5 years was just travel all kinds of places. I mean, Sumter County, down south, up north to Russellville and
Mhm.
Albertville. Um, a lot of these really interesting communities that frankly don't get a lot of media
Mhm.
coverage. And talking about big topics like desegregation, like school interventions and takeovers, and um, reading. What does it take to get kids to learn how to read? And why aren't more of them, where they should
Mhm.
be? So that's really been my favorite thing. Like anytime I get a chance to go get in the car and go somewhere I've never been, um, has that's kind of what has driven me to do this work.
Yeah.
So
It's a cool state, isn't it? All kinds of different people and
yeah, yeah. And like I told y'all in the morning meeting, I mean, I'm from Alabama. I will always have roots there. So I mean, I think that's just so important,
mm,
to kind of be rooted where you can be, and explore as much as you can. It's such a beautiful state, and that's what just like taking those drives to kind of process
mhm.
what I just saw.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
I don't know how many cross state trips I've taken in all kinds of directions that I just stop for a moment and say out loud to my wife or whoever I'm driving with. And I'd say, man, this is beautiful country. And there's a lot of it. A lot of people say, oh, it's too flat in the South or it's too. No, it's beautiful. I love all of it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, as far as the state and institutions themselves, what are some of the biggest changes or trends that you've seen in education? Where have we come in your years here?
Sure. So I think it was my second week on the job when all of the CRT stuff started
Hmm.
happening, which, for those of you who don't
Right.
remember, stands for critical race theory, which, by the way, is not taught in Alabama schools. I have to say that. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of thrown into the fire really because that kind of became something that shaped pretty much my entire time here, a topic that I was covering. It, I mean, obviously evolved into a bunch of different other acronyms, and then now it's DEI.
Hmm.
But the culture wars is something that's kind of been ever present, and now that we're almost a year into the new Trump administration, I mean, that's something that has only heightened in this past
Hmm.
year. Um, but then I've also witnessed some really interesting policy reforms. It has been really cool to see Alabama leapfrog other states in national rankings in reading and math. Um, and, that was due in part, in my opinion, but I think, the data bears this out, to a lot of the reforms that were passed in the middle of COVID, kind of when I first got here as well. So kind of witnessed the beginning of that and to start to see some effects of it. Been really kind of interesting to see. And it's like kind of pushing back against the narrative about our schools that was definitely there when I came here.
Yeah.
So I think there's it's kind of a balance of like all of this political culture war stuff, sure, but then there's also this kind of sense of hope about our kids and our students as well. And some of the policy and the culture wars intertwine sometimes,
sure.
way of each other. And so I think that's kind of the biggest sort of through line I've seen.
Yeah, and when you kind of have seen this whole era of this third grade reading mandate play out a little bit, but it's unfortunately had to play out, beginning with a pandemic that set everything behind, so that it didn't quite get to see it in effect for as long as we'd have liked to by now.
Sure. And I mean, that's a really big point. We are still at a point where some schools have not fully recovered from, where they were during the pandemic. But we've also seen a lot of schools make really impressive gains, some of the most impressive gains in the country. So, I say all that. I think, as much as we are, celebrating the success, I think, that's the role of journalists here, is to keep them accountable and keep asking the questions, because there's definitely more that they can be doing.
Yeah. And we appreciate you and all the folks who do that on education. I probably don't reach out to y'all enough. And I put the news together and deliver it to folks, but this reporting team is why this is a podcast, and your people hear me call your name out on it all the time. So thanks for what you've done there.
Thank you.
One thing I'll do, and I promise I'm not going to keep you long, so we'll get on to the next thing. I didn't realize this until you were leaving, and so this isn't really a question, but just me saying I didn't know this, is that you did a hitch as editor-in-chief of the Crimson White. Now, for folks that don't know, that's the University of Alabama student newspaper. So, you were a star. You were a star among the young journalists before you even got here.
I don't know if I'd call myself that, but I was editor when COVID hit. And so that was a wild ride. And now actually the past couple of days have, been taken back to that moment. Us and a lot of alumni have been talking about this impact to the student magazines there, which I know we've covered at AL.com. But it's been really interesting to kind of have those conversations again about what we're doing in student media. And again, kind of, talking about or having to kind of contend with university administration.
That's right.
I spent 5 years really, because I did my master's there too at the CW. And that was a whirlwind, coming from 2016 first Trump election and some of the politics there, him coming to campus and all of that, bunch of administrative turnover, and then COVID. So that was kind of an interesting insight into Alabama politics too, covering the machine and all that stuff.
And also, I'll just to repeat your point with COVID and some of the culture war stuff. We used to use the phrase "the new normal," and we used it during COVID, and we used it, I think, during the Great Recession. And the BP oil spill. Nobody was ever going to get to go to the beach again. The new normal. These days, I don't think there is a normal. And I think we finally, as a society, got to the point where we can admit that. Am I right?
I think the normal is chaos.
I think it is. So, what a great time to be alive in
Yeah.
some ways. As you pointed out earlier, you're local. As we can tell every time you talk, you're from Alabama. You were raised in Tuscaloosa. Um, so this is a big. Would you say this is a big move culturally for you?
Somewhat. It's the first time I've ever actually moved physically out of the state. I've kind of gone places here and there, internships, things like that. But as far as actually living somewhere else, that's new for me. And also one of the reasons I wanted to do it, because I think it is valuable to kind of experience something else. And who knows, maybe I'll be back. So,
since this is an exit interview, I can also ask you, what could we have done to be a better employer? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
it's like, okay, HR.
All right. Rebecca Griesbach, thank you so much for giving us some precious time that you have left. It's been a pleasure. Keep in touch.
Absolutely. Y'all as well.
And thanks out there, everybody who's listening to us. We are going to be back here Monday morning. Until then, as always, y'all come by and see what we're doing on the internet at al.com.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.